All right, I'm well rested. I just woke up. I got coffee and oatmeal, and I gotta get my assignment done. Hopefully, hopefully there's nothing proprietary about this assignment. But I gotta get it done. If anything weird is gonna happen, I gotta document it. Identifying collision damage, explaining the creation, damage report, repair blueprinting and supplements, insurance policy basics, vehicle teardown, parts ordering, exterior lighting, heating and cooling systems.
A vehicle has been involved in a
Collision repair, process overview, overview of collision repair facility. I find the narration distracting, so I'll just do it myself.
collision.
A common occurrence can result in damage. Makes sense. They're saying collision damage to the vehicle looks moderate, but further examination may reveal a more serious impact. And I think what they mean by that is that just because it looks like you only got your bumper um, dented, it doesn't mean that the frame didn't get skewed. It doesn't mean that maybe the some cables got knocked loose somewhere. That there's a lot of other things that could be going on as a result of that impact. And basically they're just saying that
Collision damage.
sometimes when you get into an accident, sometimes you can drive away from it and sometimes you can't. I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Oh shit. My alarm's going off too. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Let's go further. Um, Estimated repair costs, work that will be done, pre-existing damage not included in repairs. So, like, basically, if there's maybe a structural integrity issue, but then there's also a cosmetic issue that was pre-existing, maybe excluding the cosmetic issue that was pre-existing. Record of actually, I have to fill these out for my Frontier. Sometimes my '97 Frontier. Like for example, we just got the alternator fixed. So going into the shop, having to fill out like name, phone number, um, what's wrong with the damn thing, shit like that. Record of mandated disclosure information. Not sure what that means. Guess we'll find out. Customer location. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Claim center. If location vehicle was towed, if not drivable. Just basic documentation. Overview of damage. Visualize the repair. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, you mean just look at it? Visualize the repair? See, when you say it like that, it sounds like you want me to sketch it or something. Direction and force of impact. Collision energy transfer. Structural damage indicators. Changes in handling or operation. Like if your toe got bent out, that can happen sometimes. Like if your car, if you're sitting at a light and you're sitting heavy on the brake and someone rear ends you, and for some reason it squashes the car down too, it can bend your toe out like that. The vehicle's considered non-drivable when any safety systems, I would assume. It seems to be what the premise of most of this industry is about is safety. Yep, such as airbag or seatbelt. The vehicle may be non-drivable if some mechanical items have been damaged. In the collision industry, estimates are often referred to as. They've even got the word estimate right here. Damage reports. Alright, cool. Other common names that may be included or that may be used include damage appraisal and visible damage quote. Another one that they didn't list, which is becoming more popular nowadays, is a Skibidi Gyatris check on the tech with Hontoni Gozaimasu. Apparently, we're also looking for hidden damage and new items to add to a report. So basically, just anytime it comes in, even if it's not as a result of the recent accident, or even if it's not um, just part of the common sense where to look, you gotta do a little bit of due diligence to figure out what's going on with it. Might need to go somewhere else. Like if you don't have a frame straightening tool, or maybe if you don't have an alignment tool, which uh, something like that, and then you just document that also. Or maybe if you don't have a welding specialist at your location, Might send it to a welding specialist or something. But you just gotta document it. When you're writing the damage report, you need the customer's information, you need insurance information, and you need vehicle identification. Gathering information. And then when you're figuring out what's wrong with it, you need to figure out the extent of the damage, how repairable it is, vehicle maker recommendations. Manufacturer recommendations, is that what you mean? Repair delays from supplements. Additional parts obtain authorization. I guess that just means like if you see anything else that needs to be done outside of the main repair, that you can just take note of it and then make sure it's okay that you do it. So it's like, okay, well, you brought this in because the radiator got crushed. Um, but I also noticed that your blinker got crushed as well. And you didn't bring it in for that, and you didn't tell me to do that, I guess because you didn't notice before you brought it in. So I'm going to replace the radiator, and we already discussed the cost. However, I also noticed your blinker is damaged, and I would like to also replace that for you. Here's how much it would cost. Will you please authorize this? Something like that. You can even, and I would assume you can even say, you can come in and check it and make sure. I guess you just have to be trustworthy and not like do stuff like crush the blinker when they're not looking and then reporting it. So you just got to be a trustworthy business owner or whatever. Presents entire repair picture. Oh, they mean it literally. He's taking pictures. Identifies all parts needed. That's essential. It's essential on both ends, both for the customer to understand what's going on and for you to actually remember what you need to do and keep organization on what you need to order and complete. Determines sublet work, which is, I would assume, things like the sending it out if you don't have a certain equipment. Finds hidden damage, which means don't just look at it for like 2 seconds. Actually do some investigation and figure out if there's anything else wrong. All right. I guess I'll just have to listen to them. I try to look at the script first because I have what's known as misophonia. Um, I worked too hard as an audio engineer, and I I obtained a disease, a strange disease where um, certain noises are discomforting to me, but I will just have to listen anyway because I need to watch the video for this one. Apparently, I can't just read it; it doesn't have the same impact.
Today we're working on a 2007 Honda Pilot. As you can see, we have moderate damage in the left fender area. Now, one of the first steps in the collision repair process is to write a damage estimate for the repair. What this damage estimate allows us to do is to order the parts that is necessary for the repair, also to verify the extent of damage, and to develop a repair plan. Steve, can you go over what we're going to have to do in order to write a damage estimate for this vehicle?
Certainly. Let's start out by taking a look at some of the more obvious damage on this vehicle. The area of direct impact includes the edge of the hood and the fender assembly, which will require replacement. The locator pins have been broken off of the headlight assembly, so that'll need to be replaced. The impact caused the fender to move rearward slightly, causing damage to the front edge of the front door. This damage, because it's minor, can be straightened.
Now, the damage to the fender looks pretty deep. Do you think we have any damage to the inner structure?
Yeah, it appears as though we have some damage
I got
on
it.
the upper fender rail.
So basically, there was an impact on the fender, which then pushed the fender back into the door jamb and caused further damage at the door jamb, even though the impact is at the fender.
And the radiator support. Let's take a closer look. From inside the engine compartment, we can see that there's minor damage to the radiator support. We can also see damage to the fender mounting bracket and the upper rail and apron assembly. We'll have to check with Honda Collision Repair Information to determine if the upper rail needs to be replaced at factory seams or if it can be sectioned.
And that's just, he's basically just saying, okay, that shit's fucked, homie. And we gotta check with Honda because they got way fucking more money than we do. And they can defend themselves in court. If they say we need to rip the whole shit off and put a new one on, then that's what we're gonna do. And if they say we can just fucking straighten it out, then that's what we're gonna do. But we're gonna check with Honda first because they got a lot more money than our little shop. And if someone sues us, we can say, well, Honda told us to do it.
Now, Steve, what about the bumper cover? It looks like we have some minor deformation here and some extra panel gap there. Do you think there's any damage to the bumper cover itself?
That only works if we actually do a good job. If we replace it and we do a good job the way that they said, if someone says, well, I don't like you, you can just say, well, I don't like you, then move on.
You know, it's really hard to tell. I think based on the inspection we've done so far, we really need to do some teardown on this vehicle to make sure that we found all the damage and to identify all the parts that we need to order. So once we start the repair, we don't run into any problems.
So what parts do we need to remove as part of the teardown process then?
Well, we'll remove the hood, the fender, the bumper cover, the headlight assembly, and the air cleaner assembly inside the engine compartment. That should give us the access we need to locate all the damage and to get our parts ordered.
Okay, Steve, we have our bolted on parts removed from our vehicle. Is there any additional damage that we didn't see during our initial inspection?
No, actually, I don't see any surprises here, which is good. We did get a better look at the radiator support, and the damage is minor. We'll definitely be able to repair that. And it doesn't really look as though that our upper rail assembly is damaged at all. We're going to make sure that it hasn't been moved out of position, though, when we do some measuring, when we get it on the...
Great example of what could have gone wrong is some metal could have gotten pinched and something like this cable could have gotten severed.
On the rack a little bit later on. But it does, we can see that we will have to replace the upper fender mounting bracket and the apron assembly as well. So that's about the extent of the structural repair that we'll need to deal with on this vehicle.
And what about our bumper cover here?
Well, the teardown did allow us a lot better look at the bumper cover as well. And fortunately, there is no damage there, so we shouldn't have any repair issues related to the bumper cover on this job anyway.
Okay, it looks like we identified all the damage in our area of direct impact. Now, how do we determine if damage has radiated further into the vehicle?
By doing some quick checks using measuring. On this vehicle, we haven't measured it yet.
What he actually meant to say was by doing some quick checks by using Black Magic. It's great to measure stuff, and he said that for the camera because we can't expose the entire industry at one time. We have to leave some sauce for the users. But he actually meant Black Magic.
We know that we had some structural damage in the upper body on this vehicle. This vehicle is going to be measured when we put it on the rack, when we do our structural repairs. So we'll do it at that point. We knew that our damage was limited to this area because of the way it was damaged. However, on other vehicles, we may want to do some of those quick check measurements using either three-dimensional portable electronic equipment that's made for doing damage
More like three-dimensional portal electronic equipment.
analysis measuring, or we can just use a tram bar using point-to-point measurements to help determine if our damage is limited to the area of direct damage or if it's radiated further into the structure. Other quick checks included looking at the panel gaps, make sure the gaps aren't too wide or too tight, and make sure that they're even top to bottom.
See, that's the black magic part, is using your eyeballs and figuring out if it looks right or not. But then you can also take measurements. You can go to the other side and see if the door jamb has the same amount of spacing with a caliper. You can, if you have another vehicle that's the same in the shop, you can check the other vehicle and measure that one. You can also check manufacturer specifications if you have the blueprints.
Another quick check is check for correct door operation. The door should open smoothly. It should not drop down or jump up when it's open. You also want to make sure that the door fit and panel alignment is correct all the way across the panel.
Well, it looks like we have a handle on what it's going to take to repair this vehicle. Steve, why is it so important to write an accurate estimate?
Well, first of all, it gives us the ability to do an accurate parts order and to determine how many hours that this repair is going to take. And that will allow us to schedule a vehicle into the workflow of the facility and then produce an effective repair and get the vehicle delivered to the customer on time as promised.
Sorry, I have a heart issue, and sometimes it flares up.
Since the majority of collision repairs have some type
Nope.
of insurance company,
See, I can't stand that. I can't stand that voice. Okay, so basically just explain what the fuck you're doing before you start doing it. Double check to see what is covered by insurance. Of course, the amount varies. What is paid regardless of who is at fault? I guess basically they just said that to say, like, dude, if you're fixing the car, it doesn't fucking matter what the story is beyond what pertains to the damage that you're repairing. No one cares about, or you don't have to care about those two idiots arguing about who the fuck should pay. You don't have to care about that. You just have to make it very clear that you are going to get paid for your work. And then move on and do your work and don't be an asshole to people. Determine if repair is economical, meaning don't overcharge people. If totaled, vehicle may have salvage vehicle. So if the customer can't afford it, can't afford the repair, or if the cost of the repair is going to be greater than the total cost of the car, basically. Or not, how does it explain? Totaling is actually like if the cost of the repair, yeah, is more than the resale value of the car, or if it's close to the resale value of the car, I think. Or if the customer just can't afford it, actually. Might have salvage value. So, like, basically inform the customer that not all hope is lost, even if they can't afford the repair or something, or if the repair can't be done. Because sometimes it's just not worth trying to fix a car. Sometimes you just need to let it go. When new items are added to a damage report, these are called supplements. These require the approval of the insurance company and the vehicle owner. The decision to repair or replace a part is often determined by the blank of steel. Strength? Strength? Meaning if something is still structurally integral or not, whether or not it's going to be a liability. In some instances, partial vehicle tear down may be required during the damage analysis to find any hidden damage. The blank is a portion of the claim amount that must be paid by the policyholder. Deductible. Just like going to the doctor. Mechanics are just car doctors. Alright, moving on. My parents are just getting home. I might have to get up and close the door so I can keep focusing. Estimates may be referred to as all of these except work order. Damage that is found after the repair process has begun often results in which of these being created? Supplement? The term used to describe when the cost of repairs exceeds a predetermined percentage of a vehicle's value is... Sorry, I just said that and wasn't listening because I was just feeling that same feeling that I often feel that I often then start focusing on instead of the work. I think this is part of my PTSD because I start thinking about all the people who might be wanting to stop me from what I'm doing. And I find it hard to just think about what I'm doing. Well, I'm doing homework, so I close the door. And you'll tell Dad that as well. And wait, I'm gonna get some more coffee. I don't know what that feeling is, or I kind of feel like I know what that feeling is, but it seems like it's generated from outside of me, and then I pick up on it. And it's usually when I do this sort of stuff where I'm trying to focus on something, and it feels like people are watching me, and then they're trying to like
get me to do something I don't want to do, and then I have to focus on that instead of what I'm supposed to be doing because people don't respect me. That's what that feeling is. I guess I don't really. I don't really know. It always feels like someone's just trying to run it up on me. Let me see if I can try again and see if I can focus this time. The term used to describe when the cost of repairs exceeds a predetermined percentage. See, my brain is not processing this information, and this is why I fucking hate this shit. Because then I just heard a voice in my head that went, "I'll drop you." It's like, that's unnecessary. Why is that happening? I'm just trying to finish my fucking homework, and this isn't even supposed to be that complicated. So imagine what I'd be feeling if I was trying to do something more complicated. And that feeling is justified because apparently every time I build a system that's complicated and I work hard for it, someone comes and fucking destroys it like a sandcastle. So of course I'd start getting this feeling as I'm nearing the end of this portion of the homework because I'm almost at the test, which is where people usually fuck with me the most. And apparently I can't just calm down because apparently it's not a schizophrenic paranoid delusion. Apparently it's some sort of mirror neuron reaction to actual abuse. And it's a predictive mechanism, and I don't know why people keep doing this, other than the fact that they're lazy and have no discipline. And want me to do their homework for them. That's usually what this feeling means, is someone's trying to plot on me because they see what I'm doing. See, it won't go away. I keep trying to look at the screen and read what it says, and this feeling won't go away. Somewhere, someone is going, "This motherfucker is exposing us," and getting really mad at me. That's what that feels like. And it feels like my life is at risk just because I'm trying to document myself doing my homework. It feels like someone might even be thinking about raping me. That's what all those feelings combined feel like. And that's why I'm having a hard time fucking just reading this plain ass shit. And you saw that I just did all that other stuff and it was not that hard for me. But now I've got some other feelings that won't let me read this for some reason. And this is why if I'm going to get a job, I definitely can't work full time right now, because if something like this happens while I'm working on a job, I'm just going to have to fucking clear out and go home before I lash out at someone. So pretty much at this point, all I can handle is simple jobs with low liability on a part-time basis after I complete this semester. It's not that I'm not capable of doing more advanced jobs, it's just that all this trauma that I have, it shifts my focus at random times. It makes me think that I have to stomp motherfuckers out instead of focusing on my homework. And that's a difficult feeling to deal with because I'm not supposed to be doing that anywhere near my house. I'm supposed to be doing that when I'm sent overseas for murder rage missions. I shouldn't feel that feeling here on U.S. soil at my own home. But unfortunately, a bunch of people ran in my house with rifles, robbed me, and then threatened me with a life sentence. So sometimes I guess I just have to pause and take a break. You know what? I don't care if I can't read this one properly. I'm just going to get it done and then we'll move on. The term used to describe when the cost of repairs exceeds a predetermining percentage of See, I can't even finish the fucking sentence. The term Feels like someone just doesn't want me to do it, and they're just being mean to me. What is this, psychic hazing? The term used to describe when the cost of repairs exceeds a predetermined percentage of a vehicle's value is psychological hazing. It's like psychic hazing, not psychological. There's nothing about this page that's very different than anything else. It feels like someone just caught on to what I was doing and they're just trying to fuck me up. It's total. It's called total when it's totaled. That's what the answer is, but obviously there's something going wrong with either my brain or all of yours. Okay, but see this, I knew it because this answer doesn't just, this is not a valid reason. They said my response is incorrect and that salvage value is the value of a vehicle after a collision. Well, that's not even necessary. That's not even necessarily true because of salvage, you don't always need to salvage a vehicle after a collision. And also, the cost of repairs, if you're already looking at cost of repairs, then it's after a collision. So that's not a valid reasoning, and maybe that's why I got the feeling, because apparently this question is supposed to be a hazing question where they just say, no, you're wrong, now suck my penis. You're just wrong, suck my penis. Apparently that's what this is. And I just want you to know, if you try that with me, it won't end well. If you try that with me in real life, it won't end well, as my teacher realized last class. So is it scrap value? Well, see, this should also be potentially correct because, see, and that's why they're just like, stop, okay, it's total loss. We totally lost. Because, that should also have, this should also have been a correct answer. Just like, the salvage value should also have been a correct answer for very similar reasoning. So that's two people that just died in my shop. This is just like the Shutoko thing. Just because you guys said that I got something wrong, it doesn't mean that I did. And if you say that I got something wrong that I didn't, it basically just means that you got something wrong. Just a reminder of that. And I wouldn't call it total loss either. That seems pretty negative. It's not a total loss. Cost of repairs exceeds predetermined percentage of a value's vehicle. Well, if you can still salvage it and scrap it, then it's not a total loss. So I don't know what games you guys are playing, but I actually know exactly what games you guys are playing. And you thought you were going to crank me and get off to it. Haha. I've exceeded the allowed number of tries. Well, then why am I still on trial, bitch?
Once the damage report
Shut the
writing
fuck up.
process is
I told you to shut the fuck up. Also, it's nothing personal against whoever narrated this. It's not you. It's just the way that your voice is being used. So basically just VINs. See, and this is the point at which I go, why am I still doing this if you guys are obviously making this more difficult than it has to be? You made it easy up to a certain point, and then you start making it difficult, and you do that to try to take control of someone, and start ordering them around, you try to make them feel like they know what they're doing, and then you do something that is unnecessarily complicated, and you tell them that they're wrong, but really they're not wrong. You're just being very specific about something in order to start mind controlling them so that you can haze them and induct them into a cult and then try to own their souls and their lives. And that's how you make money off of people. And then you run scams like putting the fucking power steering and coolant over top of the alternator so that you can make it leak onto the alternator and cause corrosion. And then you have this fucking cycle where you just replace the alternator and then you let it leak again. Stuff like that. Because you could have just put that shit at the bottom of the engine and put the alternator at the top. But no, you wanted to fucking design it like an asshole. Determine types of parts to order. Note warranty coverage for parts, because some stuff you might be able to get money back on or sent to you for free, or at least get a major discount on it.
Collision repair facilities generally do not begin.
I really wish that it would just stay muted when I hit that for the next slide. See, I feel that feeling again. Like, immediately I feel that feeling of someone else feeling like they should be in my space. And that's just not true. And I shouldn't feel that feeling every time I either say something that's on my mind, try to adjust something to my liking, say how I would want it, or try to complete something that I've been asked to complete. These feelings should not arise during these situations, and it means that something is wrong. And the reason I know that is because every time I feel this feeling, something goes wrong, and I find out it's related to the way I felt at the time. So whether it's psychic, or it's just premonitory, or it's just a survival thing, it's clearly a mental illness, but illness is just a disease, which is dis-ease, which means discomfort, and it makes it difficult. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing right now. And it's usually as a result of someone else doing something to me. And if I'm not mistaken, it could be related to this video if I put it out and then someone's watching it and they're watching me struggle and they enjoy it and they're going to get off to it and they think that they're going to fucking be able to haze me and hook up with me. And the fact of the matter is I'm way too traumatized for that, and you will find yourself in a very bad situation. And I know you're taking it as a challenge, and that you're saying straight up, I'll bury you. Verify parts, proper side of vehicle, correct shape, no unexpected damage, attachments included. Removing bolt-on sheet metal, removing adjacent trim panels, removing moldings, protecting parts, taking pictures, recording presets. See, okay, I feel like all of this stuff, you should learn it over a period of time by being in the shop. I feel like shops should be more accessible, and you shouldn't need all this stuff on your jacket in order to learn this stuff. And yeah, school is one thing, but apparently school has changed drastically. See, I can hear you guys in my head. I can hear the fucking SWAT team going, straight up, we should have shot you. Which is kind of what I said, that if you're going to rob me, you should have robbed me of my life's work, you should have shot me and killed me. Or just stay the fuck out of it. But no, you half-assed it.
And all I was trying to do was heal, and you can't heal me. I have to heal myself because the damage is very complicated. Which is why you interfered, to prevent me from healing. I should be able to just focus on my homework without having these sorts of thoughts, and you can't blame me for it. Cooling system parts, radiator, hoses and lines, heater core, all that stuff is very fragile, especially the radiator if it gets into an accident. Water pump, fan, you gotta check the operation of all these things, make sure the spindles are all okay and everything. Hoses and lines, make sure nothing got pinched or sliced, etc. Air conditioning system parts. Air conditioning system parts, compressor, condenser, cooling fan, blower fan, evaporator, accumulator, auto leveling for the headlights, adaptive front lighting, basically a lot more extra stuff on the modern cars that can go wrong. Ordered parts should be blank before repairs are begun. Inspected. Just make sure that they match the vehicle being repaired and do not have unexpected damage. So basically just look at the new shit, make sure it's new, and make sure it works before you put it in. Any technician that works on an air conditioning system must be certified before passing. Okay, so the EPA is involved. Basically, it looks like they just need to know that you understand that the fluid used in air. So air conditioning, I'm pretty sure the fluid contains or creates chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, same stuff that's in refrigerator units, and that stuff, it's what's known as a free radical, and it can bond with ozone particles, which is just 3 oxygens. It can bond with that, and it can dispel. I can't remember what the compound is that it leaves behind, but it can dispel the ozone layer basically, and it can cause holes in the ozone layer. Now, I'm not sure. I guess it's just bad for the environment. That stuff's just bad for the environment in general. Because I'm like, how would your air conditioning fluid get in that high up in the air? But I'm pretty sure maybe it just evaporates or some shit. I can't remember how. But that's why you need to be certified, I think, for air conditioning. Because otherwise you could be held liable for genocide, even. If an ozone layer ring opens up in Sudan or some shit, and it kills a bunch of people because the sun shines through and fucking bakes their bones, and you didn't dispose your air conditioning fluid properly, if there's an investigation, especially if Interpol's involved, they can just be like, yeah, it seems ridiculous that you killed all these people in Sudan. Except it wasn't just you, it was you and all these other people who didn't throw away their air conditioning fluid properly or whatever. And so you're going to prison forever because you committed a fucking massacre, a manslaughter. Yeah, I know that seems ridiculous, but that's how people think sometimes.
Information discussed in this module
Please,
included.
please stop. Thank you. The information discussed in the module includes the different types of collision damage, the creation and function of a damage report, repair blueprinting and supplements, insurance policy basics, vehicle teardown and parts ordering, exterior lighting, and heating and cooling systems. Now, I want to just say something real quick. I'm doing this education because I think cars are fun.
and I love cars, and so this should be a fun experience for me doing these assignments, and I shouldn't be feeling so apprehensive about it, and I shouldn't feel like it's so uncomfortable. I should be able to just focus on the content and not have to worry about being hazed or raped. I shouldn't have to worry about people trying to use these assignments to try to control me or take advantage of me while I'm focused. I shouldn't have to worry about people trying to mind control me with this fucking assignment. Learning objective
Learning
for this
objectives for the
module includes explaining why vehicles. See, that feeling of where he starts talking when I'm trying to read it, it's like someone trying to take advantage of my work. That's what it feels like. Trying to take credit for my own work. Explaining why vehicles are measured and considerations for straightening. Explaining structural part repairs and replacement. Explaining exterior panel and non-structural repairs. Discussing the role of stationary glass and stationary glass and replacement considerations. Damn, dude, how fucking long is this assignment? Specific system recommendations. I haven't even gotten to the post test yet. Specific system recommendation, maybe no preference. Meaning there might not be a specific instruction for a tolerance that you have to adjust. So you can't always just rely on the manufacturer specifications. You might just have to get it good enough, as they say, and figure it out yourself. Use of heat. Steel may be damaged
during
by
the straightening process,
Please,
metal
I forget every time apparently, and it's so annoying when he starts talking when I'm already talking. Steel may be damaged by straightening. It feels like they do that just to bother me at this point. See, that's what I'm starting to feel like about all this stuff, is that people just try to bother other people at any point that they can so that they can try to be mean and take their fucking shit. And it's so annoying, and this is why I said I'm not trained to deal with that. I'm trained to either help someone or fucking just kill them. And it's so annoying. Steel may be damaged by straightening, may require replacement if damaged. If heat is allowed, it must be monitored to make sure excessive heat is not applied. Basically saying that you can possibly bend something back into place easier if you heat it to a certain temperature if it's a metal, but that you might accidentally melt it if you're not careful to a point where it falls apart instead of just bends properly. That's a very delicate thing, and I feel like you should have a lot of practice at that before you put someone's safety at risk by trying to do that. Like practicing on non-structural integrity, like if you have a scrap vehicle, like taking that scrap part and practicing on that. I feel like that is a good idea, and you should have quite a bit of practice at that. And maybe even if you have your own personal vehicle that has that issue, trying that as a mechanic on your own before you do that for a customer, because that seems like you could really screw something up if you do that wrong. Cut location recommendations, so like factory seams is what they're saying for these monocoque vehicles. Joint recommendations. It's funny, it's right as it said joint recommendations, I got a text from District Connect. I don't order from them anymore, or like at all, but they provide joints in DC. It's like a delivery service. Like I said, I can't smoke THC right now, but it's just funny that I got that text right when it said joint recommendations. And that can either be seen as like a cool little cosmic like coincidence, or it could be seen as someone trying to interfere with my treatment. because I'm not supposed to have that right now. And right as I saw joint recommendations, they sent it to me. Oh, he can't resist it if it's a coincidence. I don't know which one it is, but it's just it's just further adding to the potential that this whole thing is just a massive hazing program. And that I don't need any of this fucking training at all, and that I could learn all of this by myself on my own. And that the only reason I'm doing this is because someone is gonna try to fucking attack me if I work on my own fucking car in my own fucking garage. And they did before I even got there. Before I even got to that there, I got attacked. Hello.
As we found out during the estimating process, we're going to be replacing the apron assembly here. We're also going to be straightening the upper rail and the end of the radiator core support. In order to do that, we brought the vehicle here to the structural repair area. Eddie, could you give us an overview of the structural repair area and also tell us a little bit about how we're going to be fixing our vehicle?
Absolutely. The structural repair area is used to measure vehicle misalignment, to do structural repairs, and to remove and replace structural parts. The structural damage on this vehicle is very light, but we're still going to measure the upper rail and the radiator core support to make sure they fall within specs. On this vehicle, chances are we're not going to have to do any structural pulling.
So I see our vehicle is mounted on our frame rack. What's going to be the next step in the repair process?
Our next step is to remove any adjacent parts to the apron assembly. This includes the brake control module, the battery, and the air intake system. We're doing this to make sure that we both have full access to our
See, I'm not even paying attention.
so that we don't damage anything.
I'm just fucking spacing out thinking about some irrelevant ass shit right now. Some traumatic ass, irrelevant ass shit right now. I have to start the whole fucking thing again. This is why I drink coffee. To try to keep me focused. And this is what I go through every time I try to do an assignment or go to school. Because I don't think everything's the way it's supposed to be, and I straight up could have just learned all this at home. Or if shops weren't so fucking corporately corrupt, I could just go to a shop and say, hey, can I hang out and learn some stuff while you guys work? And then I could just go home and work on some shit, and if friends still existed, there wouldn't be any problem with that because we'd be friends, and we would trust each other. But apparently, that world doesn't exist anymore, for the most part. It exists inside of me, as I hope for it. But all that's happening as I go through these programs is I'm getting tortured. And I straight up could have been having some fun-ass days, fun-ass times, and I wouldn't have had to stress about any of this, and I wouldn't have had to say all this about people or like, comment on things that could potentially get people in trouble. I could have just minded my own business, made a few friends, and worked on my own car. And then if I got to the point where I was good at it, then I could make money from it. But instead, I seem to have been inducted into yet another hazing slave cult, which I thought we were done with after I paid my dues for the music industry, but apparently, no. All you wanted to do is transfer me to another slave owner.
As we found out during the estimating process, we're going to be replacing the apron assembly here. We're also going to be straightening the upper rail and the end of the radiator core support. In order to do that, we brought the vehicle here to the structural repair area. Eddie, could you give us an overview of the structural repair area and also tell us a little bit about how we're going to be fixing our vehicle?
Absolutely. The structural repair area is used to measure vehicle misalignment.
Because apparently you guys considered Grant Enright my slave owner and me a slave. And then when shit went down with him, not went down, but when things didn't go well, you had me set up and incarcerated. And then you tried to see if you could just straight up end me. And when that didn't work, you decided to try to put me in a whole different industry, thinking that I would just give up. And it looks like you're trying to enslave me again.
Structural repairs and to remove and replace structural parts. The structural damage on this vehicle is very light, but we're still going to measure the upper rail and the radiator core support to make sure they fall within specs. On this vehicle, chances are we're not going to have to do any structural pulling.
So I see our vehicle is mounted on our frame rack. What's going to be the next step in the repair process?
Our next step is to remove any adjacent parts to the apron assembly. This includes the brake control module, the battery, and the air intake system. We're doing this to make sure that we both have full access to our repair and so that we don't damage any of the parts.
All right, sounds good. We'll let you get started then.
I don't even know what the fuck these people are saying anymore. I can't even focus on it. I bet you guys messed up my interstate transfer on purpose just so you could do some dumbass shit like this. Just so you could re-enslave me in a different fucking industry. And you're probably planning on capturing me again and putting me in some other location and making me do this sort of work for free. That's my guess, is that you're just going to continue trying to call me a criminal, and then you're going to try to capture me and use me as slave labor again. That's my guess. And I'm still suspicious as to what happened to me while I was under anesthesia for my bone graft surgery for my left hand. Because a lot of the extra trauma seems to have accumulated right at that time, and things went weird in a way I can't describe. And when I asked for footage of the surgery, you should have just filmed it and supplied me with the footage instead of making me think that you fucking raped me and tortured me while I was under anesthesia. Because I'm already dealing with enough shit. And that was a long ass time ago now, and it's still fucking with me.
Okay, Eddie, it looks like we have our repairs completed on the front structure.
And if we're going that far, you should have just covered Invisalign for my insurance when I was growing wisdom teeth instead of yanking the motherfuckers out by breaking them. Further adding to this issue.
What's next in the repair process?
We're going to check over the repair again and make sure that all the welds have been made and that they've all been dressed. Then we're going to move the vehicle into our non-structural repair area where we will fix the damage on the door. After that, we'll move it into the paint booth to start the refinishing process.
And it feels like the reason all this is happening to me is because my foreskin was removed at birth. It seems like people who don't have this issue, people who have their foreskins don't have this issue. That's what it seems like. Are we done with this assignment yet? Jesus fucking Christ. Repair the part, partial part replacement, complete part replacement, adhesive, metal straightening, applying body filler, sanding, applying primer, refinishing, paintless dent repair, refinishing is not required, special tools are used, special techniques are used. But how much information am I really going to retain from this assignment? Like, at all? Picks and special tools are used to perform paintless dent removal, such as on the hood of this Toyota. Like, most of it just seems to be me comparing what I've learned just by hanging around my dad while he does repairs on stuff. And it's not like I don't have things I can still learn, but I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like it's really helping me. Spot welds and plug welds most common. Laser welds not replicated. Adhesive may be used. It definitely doesn't seem like I should have to pay for this information. Feels like this information should be free from the government.
The next step in the collision repair process is to remove any cosmetic damage from the exterior body panels. And to do that, we bring the vehicle here in the non-structural.
Here's a great example of what I'm dealing with. Last semester, in engines class, God bless that man's soul, but he said diesel wasn't flammable. Why are you teaching the class if you think diesel's not flammable?
Structural repair area. It's here we remove dents and dings
Why
from
am
panels
I-
such as the fenders or the roof.
Why am I paying you if you think diesel's not flammable? My family's got a diesel tank and a regular gasoline fuel tank at the cabin. And we use the diesel to light bonfires when we have to burn off brush. How is it not flammable? Even OSHA says it's extremely flammable.
Or the rear body panels. Now, Eddie, it looks like you've already begun on our door. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done and what you have left to do?
Absolutely. There was a little damage to the leading edge on our front door from the fender being pushed back into it. I used a hammer and a dolly to straighten the damage and then used a lightweight body filler.
Basically what it comes down to is I was at the bleeding edge of the design process and I was doing a great job and you guys stopped me because you got jealous.
To fill in the contour. After this, we're going to move it into the paint booth and use a primer surfacer to fill in any imperfections.
Sounds pretty straightforward. Now, can you show us some of the tools that are commonly used in the non-structural repair area?
Absolutely. I have a few tools laid out on a work table that we can look at.
Okay, Eddie, I see you have several tools set out for us here. Can you go through each one and kind of give us an overview of what they're used for? And maybe let's start with this one right here.
Great. What we have here is a body hammer and a body dolly. These are used to repair small dents to moderately large ones.
And the main reason
tools
why
are
it's
the only-
important that I get back to a place of stability is because if I'm feeling damaged, overly damaged as a result of other people's actions, if I have one of these in my hand, it's not a tool, it's a weapon. And we don't want that. I don't want that. I want to be working on creative projects and helping myself and my community, not being worried that every time I pick up an object like this that I'm going to have to use it for violence.
Use when you have access to both sides of the repair.
Can you show us how it's used on the panel over here?
I sure can. What you want to do is you want to apply the dolly to the back side of the repair area and lightly tap around the repair area, making sure that you do not tap on top of the dolly, which would cause stretching of the metal.
Okay, well that looks pretty straightforward. Now what about this tool here?
What we have here is called a dual action sander, or commonly called a DA sander. A dual action sander is used for repair and refinishing of the body surface on a vehicle.
Okay, sounds good. Now this looks like an interesting piece of equipment. Can you give us an overview of how this works?
Yes, I can. This is called a stud welder, and you use this when you do not have access to the back side of the repair area. The gun is controlled by the lower portion of the machine.
Okay, sounds great. Can you show us how it works?
Yes, I can. In order for the stud gun to work, we have to install a stud into the gun. And how we're going to place the stud is in line with the damage. This might require several studs in order to repair the damage correctly. What you're going to do is firmly press the stud against the repair area and pull the trigger. That short amount of voltage that was transferred into it welded the stud to the hood. Because of the size of this damage, we're going to have to install a few more studs. Now that we have all the studs in place, we have to use a few more tools in order to finish the repair process. This includes a slide hammer and a body hammer. We're going to insert the slide hammer onto the stud and pull back the locking mechanism so that it is fully secured. Then, we're going to slowly pull back, applying medium pressure, and use the hammer to slowly pound out the dent. If the damage is really bad, we can take the slide hammer and lightly tap to force the metal out.
So basically all they're doing is they created something that they can pull on for leverage to undo the dent. This seems like one of a few ways to do this.
We're going to work from the lightest damage into the most severe damage.
There are a lot of tools used in the non-structural repair area.
And then they'll probably just remove the studs afterwards.
Today we just looked at a couple. The number of tools that you use and where you use them is going to depend on the type of damage that you have on your vehicle.
More coffee because I am coughing. Three-dimensional measuring systems may be dependent on fucking you off because you're trying to make me touch myself while I'm on camera, and I don't even want to touch myself because I'm circumcised and I've been abused and raped, and I don't want to touch myself anymore. I just want to either fucking die or kill you. The three-dimensional measuring system may be dependent on blank vehicle maker recommendations. Drum kit. Drum kit. Is that what you wanted? Something to get off to? You want me to stand up and turn around and bend over also? Fuck you. Yeah, I'll get you off. I'll get you off this planet. With the addition of new high-strength steels to many vehicle designs, such as boron alloyed bullshit-ass fuckery, the use of this heat is being allowed less and less as gun rights are being removed from everyone in the United States. Another type of straightening process is called scare the gay away and is used for small micropenises. Penis does rape uses special fuckery such as dildos to fuck people off in the asshole. Possible choices: death, institutionalization, a lifetime of slavery, bullet wounds to completion, or dick sucking against your will. Those are the options here. Now let's actually see if we can figure out the real answers. Well, those are the real answers, but let's see if we can figure out the fake answers. Boron alloyed steel, probably. I'm assuming you don't lose aluminum. Can you even alloy boron to aluminum? Another type of straightening process, paintless dent repair, used for small mild dents. Paintless dent repair uses, didn't we just see studs? Uses special tools. Is this the post-test yet, or it's still objectives review? This feels like something I should get paid for, not something I should be paying for. Technician A says that when ordering parts, it is recommended to supply the VIN to the parts supplier. That's true, 100%. Technician B says that it is recommended to start the repair process before the parts arrive from the supplier. That's up for debate because it depends on what part of the repair process you're talking about. See, if you've even started ordering the parts, then you've already started the repair process. So technically, there is no way for the parts to arrive from the supplier before the repair process has begun. So technically, the answer has to be both A and B, except that I am absolutely positive that you motherfucking stupid-ass assholes are running some stupid-ass motherfucking psyop to keep people fucking enslaved. And so what you're going to do is say, no, that's not right. Drop and give me 20 and then suck my penis. Because the answer was actually A only. Correct. That is exactly what they would say. That is exactly what's going on. Which of these panel attachment methods cannot be done by the collision repair facility? Well, none of them can be done if I run up and shoot on the place. Nothing will ever get repaired in that collision repair facility once I bust their asses. But if we're talking about my collision repair facility, which would be operational because I would actually do the right thing and follow protocol instead of just raping and scamming people all the time. None of them. All of those would be able to be done at my collision repair facility. But since you're asking, we'll just try to pick one. This is where you're like, well, you're never going to add search this one, so then we're going to make you suck our penis. That's pretty much what's going on here. Spot welds, weld bonding, plug welds. Who the fuck knows? Probably laser welds. Yeah, but what if the collision repair facility is also the vehicle maker facility because I build the cars by hand? Bet you didn't think about that one, you dumb fucks. Technician A says that most vehicle makers recommend very high heat to straighten higher strength steel. Well, what is very high heat? I'm pretty sure most vehicle makers recommend exactly the right amount of heat that it takes to make the steel malleable without making it structurally weak. I don't know what very high heat means here. And what is higher strength steel? Technician B says that some higher strength steels may be too strong to straighten without damaging them. Well, that's probably true. B is probably correct. But also, that depends on if you're in a laboratory or not. I feel like if you have a high strength steel and you're in a laboratory, it doesn't matter what the strength of the steel is. As long as you have the proper tools and conditions, it is all the same amount of difficult. But like I said, I have a feeling you guys are thinking about this differently. You're trying to present the subjective like it is objective, and that is not how this works. But let me see what I think you want. Technician A says most vehicle recommend A is correct. Yeah, so probably this one. Ah, see? then it would be B only because it's not very high heat. See? But you didn't specify what very high heat means in this situation. Give me a temperature range. Very high heat to human skin, might not be very high heat to a piece of steel. Okay, well, consider that many mechanics have concussions and can't remember everything you fucking said, so you need to be very explicit every time you say something. Consider that instead of trying to make a chain of fucking evidence against them by taking advantage of their fucking concussions or whatever. Higher strength steel should not be heated as a general rule. What are you fucking talking about? You just talked about fucking heating the fucking steel. You talked about that shit. And I'm pretty sure the issue here is that just if you heat it too much, that it fucking straight up melts. It slags. And that if you put it to a very specific temperature using chemistry, that you can get it to bend without any problem. And that's why all this shit is bullshit, and it's just designed to make you try to make me suck your penis, when I'm not going to do that because I can suck my own penis.
Stationary glass plays a vital role.
Get it through your head. I can suck my own penis, so I don't want to suck yours. Stationary glass supports the roof, helps transfer collision energy, may play a role in airbag operation. Proper installation of stationary glass is critical for the integrity of the upper structure. Dude, the way you guys are presenting this fucking shit, it's like I should be ready to roll after I see this, after I do this one assignment. And I don't think that's how this is supposed to be. It's a really fucking long-ass assignment. This shit should be broken down into more consumable amounts of information. And there should be much more involvement between, if it's going to be a community college course, there should be much more involvement between the instructor and the class in back and forth going over this stuff. But instead, I feel like it's a fucking battle. Adhesive full strength times vary by type of adhesive, affected by humidity and temperature reached before returning vehicle to service. Urethane is being applied to the windshield. And the thing is that I want to look forward to my education, and I want to think well of both my peers and my instructors, as well as the people designing the curriculum. And when I feel betrayed, it causes a lot of complications.
Information discussed in this module.
I feel like you guys should go watch the movie. Wait, what's the movie about? Let me go see if I can find it for you. Movie about Auditor Nobody. Yeah. I think you guys should go watch this movie. That's my opinion. And then you should also watch this movie. You should also go watch this movie. And apparently there's a new one coming out soon, too. Information in this module included measuring and straightening, just like your penis, structural part repairs and replacement. Well, you can't really replace the foreskin very easily, nor can you repair it very easily. Exterior panel and non-structural repairs, the role of stationary glass and replacement considerations. Well, learning objectives for this module include, I was already talking, identifying types of restraints and restraint systems, explaining the importance of wheel alignments. Dude, are we doing another fucking module? Listing types of vehicle electronics and electrical damage, identifying hybrid electric vehicles and listing high voltage considerations. Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Airbags, seatbelts, head restraints. You know what? We don't need fucking airbags. We just need fucking better bucket seats and some harnesses. I don't trust all this shit. Head restraints? What do you mean head restraints? The only head restraint you should need is a fucking helmet. Restraint deployment, threshold requirements, variables for deployment. This is a seatbelt pretensioner that can be modified to make it not work in the event of a very specific type of crash in which you needed it to work, but people are gonna fucking try to kill you with it. Head restraint, active head restraints mean that
Some vehicles have active head restraints.
means exactly, they're even admitting it, may move forward during a collision, causing a fucking spinal break. Instead of being helpful, it just kills you. Maybe self-resetting because they don't want to leave evidence that they just killed you. Head restraint systems may have been an automatic lever mechanism that pushes the head restraint forward when pressure is placed back on the seat, specifically to break your spine, to break your neck. Two-wheel, four-wheel thrust angle. That's
Wheel
what she said.
alignments are often
Shut the fuck up. Targets are installed on the wheel hubs and read by computers. This is actually somewhat useful, but I'm still fucking irked by the fact that you try to make everything computerized without teaching people how to do it without a fucking computer. I shouldn't really be authorized to use a fucking computerized alignment system until I can do a decent alignment by hand without a computer. The computer is just supposed to make it easier, but if I learn how to use a computer and I don't learn how to use it by hand, well then you can just take the computer away and say now you'll never have a proper alignment.
Vehicles are being equipped with more
Shut. Blind spot detection, adaptive cruise control, electronic stability control, hill start assist. If my community college tries to turn on me and kill me, I'm going to defend myself. And if you continue hazing me, I'm going to make it very clear what's happening. I may even start wearing my body cam in class. Electronic stability control, hill start assist, lane departure warning, pre-collision systems, sensors such as this blind spot sensor for the 2010 Ford Taurus. Ford Taurus detected, may be hidden behind panels and subject to collision damage. And before you say I'm a fucking idiot, let me show you something. Just so you know, I'm tasked with this BCI project for DARPA. Tasked with. Like I said, there's such a thing called auditing. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that I'm a special person. If you know anything about Ghost in the Shell, you know exactly where the fuck all this automotive shit is going. And you understand that cybersecurity measures need to be taken far in advance of the full development of cyberbrain technology, or else we're going to have a really, 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 really fucked up world where you guys thought you were going to get off on shit and you thought that you were going to make a ton of money, but then all you did was make a corrupted system that tortured you and slaughtered you, and then took over and tortured and slaughtered everyone else because you lost control of it because you're a dumb motherfucker. And so what my job is to make sure that this evolution process either fucking stops entirely and everyone shuts the fuck up on the planet, or that we're going to make this whole ass shit right so that we can all live in harmony and peace, and that you're going to let go of your stupid ass prejudice, and you're going to let go of your broken ego and let it heal, and you're going to let things happen the way that they're actually supposed to instead of interfering with everyone and trying to use me as target practice. You understand? Blind spot detection, adaptive cruise control, electronic stability control, hill start assist, lane departure warning, pre-collision systems. More like pre-collusion systems, am I right? You don't actually have to tell me whether I'm right or not. I say, am I right, because I know I'm right, and because I also know that it might elicit a response from you because you know I'm right, and you might overreact and expose yourself. And I realize that all this is happening just because there's a lot of people out there who are running a lot of scams that are dependent on murdering people and harming their families, and that you've all implicated me in this because you just won't let me do what I want to do on my own. And so you made me realize something was wrong, and now I have to figure out what the fuck is going on. Apparently, I have to expose this entire murder conspiracy ring just to work on my own car, my own house, with my own resources that I work hard for. Because you guys also keep taking my shit from me. And apparently you guys think that I'm just going to give up and let you give me a life sentence without realizing what my life is and that I don't give up. Or that you're just going to fucking use me as target practice and shoot me when you don't realize what kind of fucking sleeper training I've been put through and what's been done to me. Some vehicles have head restraint, and apparently you think you're just going to be able to rape me and stick your fucking penis in my mouth all the time. Or in my, I don't even want to go there. That's disgusting. The whole thing's disgusting. Some vehicles have head restraints that are designed to move forward in the event of a collision. The dumbest thing is I may never have figured this stuff out if you didn't literally exactly tell me what was going on, just because you thought that you could then tell me what was going on and then do it to me, and that the torture would be worse because I knew what was going on. But you suck. You suck at this shit, fam. Some vehicles have head restraints that are designed to move forward to snap your neck in the event of a collision. Many of these systems fuck themselves after the collision because they're guilty as fuck, but some of the reset or replacement following the deployment is unnecessary because you shouldn't have been deployed in the first place. If you experience PTSD after a flawless deployment, that means that you were raped in the butthole and you need to kill whoever did it. Types of alignments done on a vehicle include stabbing your professor, killing the person who said that they like shooting and killing things, and angling yourself towards the rest of the class so that they can take pictures while you finish your job because they all know you're right. By the way, I don't condone any violence towards anyone. I'm just riffing, and I would never want to harm someone, especially someone that I'm supposed to be looking up to and that is supposed to be helping me. I'm just making a point about what you're teaching me and the type of response that you're trying to elicit from me. And I want you to realize that if I'm saying that sort of stuff as a result of your actions, and this is an institutionalized procedure, I'm probably not the only one who's feeling this way. And you should probably check your six. So anyway, let's start again. Some vehicles have head restraints that are designed to move forward in the event of a collision. Many of these systems reset themselves after the collision, but some must be reset or replaced following a deployment. If a seatbelt pre-tensioner was deployed, the entire seatbelt assembly must be replaced. Types of alignments done on a vehicle include two-wheel, four-wheel, and thrust angle alignments. Electrical damage. Wires and connectors, sensors, fuses, lamps. Basically anything electrical. It has connections, and those connections could be damaged. Malfunction indicator lamps are used to identify problems with various electronic systems. Vehicle-specific scan tool, such as this one pictured here, which can be plugged into your car and should be able to read codes. System-specific calibration tools. You might find that your manufacturer needs a very specific type of scan tool in order to complete calibration. Such as if you used a Raspberry Pi as your ECU, you might need an Arduino type device to interface. Which you should be able to do at your own house for free with government grant funding. Let's not use the word grant funding anymore, because that makes me think that you guys just want me to suck Grant Enright's penis. How about we should be able to do this stuff at home with just government funding in general? You should be able to order a Raspberry Pi off the government website, but only one at a time for each project, which you will be monitored for to make sure that you aren't cheating us. And you can get an Arduino too, and then you can have access to all these dev tools to make your own fucking shit. And then you can just run it against the AI system and then double check with an expert, because we should have honest experts. And then you should be able to build your own car. Everyone should be able to build their own car if they want to put the work in. Essentially for free. And if you want to make it more than what's necessary, then you should have to pay with your own personal money. And let's not put the lines of like, oh, well, it's not necessary to have brakes, so cough up $10 million for some brakes. No, fuck you. Okay? Yeah, I know brakes aren't necessary because I drive my pit bike without brakes, but if you start trying to pull that shit, I'm going to fam up on you. Electric motors require special considerations. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. High voltage system, don't touch the orange shit. Try to disconnect everything and discharge everything in a safe manner. Don't just try to ground shit either. If you try to discharge it by just grounding it to something, it'll probably explode. So fuck you. This is an example of a nickel metal hydride battery used in a Lexus LS 600HL. High voltage batteries are equipped with an orange colored disconnect that disables the battery. Don't touch anything orange without high voltage gloves. And also consider wearing a helmet in case you seize and hit your head on something. A malfunction indicator, MIL, which actually is supposed to stand for military, and you're probably not supposed to use that for too many other things because you're supposed to keep that as a clear acronym. But if you want to do that, that's fine. I guess we can have the military crash out on you. Whatever. Malfunction indicator, blank, is a warning system designed to illuminate. Illuminati confirmed. When a computer diagnostic that is performed during startup or operation determines that a system... Why the fuck did you make this whole fucking sentence so fucking complicated? The way it should. Yeah, your system's not responding the way it should. Possible choices: locator, hybrid, electric, lamp, diesel. A malfunction indicator, lamp, because it's MIL. Malfunction is M, indicator is I, lamp is L. The body structure generally does not differ between a bitch and a dyke vehicle in a conventional center. Because I fucked your whole shit up, Bobby. The body structure generally does not differ between a hybrid vehicle. Wait, between a hybrid electric vehicle Information discussed in this module
Information
included
discussed in this
shutting you the fuck up because you don't need to be reading this shit for me. I should be reading this shit myself, fam, and all you're doing is interfering with my learning process. Restraints and restraint systems, wheel alignments, vehicle electronics, electrical damage, calibration considerations, hybrid electric vehicles, high voltage considerations. Are we done yet? We're doing another fucking module? What the fuck is wrong with you people? If you guys have any questions about how serious I am about this shit, you can meet me in the UFC ring. But we're not going to be playing by the rules. We're just going to be doing a death match. And I mean that. But we're going to do it like that so that nobody can question what went down. Nobody can question what went down. And I'm not going to fight you just because you're a UFC ringer who's been hired by someone. If you have a problem with me, you need to come to me directly. And then we'll set up the fight. And then we'll let it go down. I'm not dealing with ringers because I'm the one sticking my neck out on this shit. And if you want to disagree with me about this premise, you need to show your work. You need to present a viable argument. And then you need to be willing to go to combat over it personally, one-on-one. That's kind of how this industry works. And if you're not doing that shit, fam, then hand it over. It's mine now. Shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and start learning. Just like I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? This isn't about a power play. This is about what's right. This is about what's right. And that the person who's doing what's right should have a say in what's going on. Learning objectives for this module include explaining the refinishing process, listing corrosion protection considerations, describing the detailing process, explaining the pre-delivery inspection and customer delivery process. Refinishing, first item,
What are
customer.
the final stages of the collision?
This is basically the whole fucking class. Like this one assignment is like what the whole class for the entire semester is supposed to be. And you're having us do it in a week. So why am I paying for this? If I'm doing all of this on the computer in a week, like, what am I paying for? First item customer inspects. Color match, no defects. Spray booths are used to provide a clean spray environment that reduces the amount of finish contamination left, blending the refinish tricks the eye into seeing one continuous color.
We've completed our structural repairs and our cosmetic repairs. The next step in the collision repair process is to give our vehicle a fresh coat of paint. This is our refinishing technician, Scott. Scott, can you give us an overview of where we're at with our vehicle right now?
Well, what we do first is we take the new parts and we jam the backside, which is putting the color coat on the backside. After we have jammed them, we hang the parts back onto the vehicle, and then we tape off the vehicle in order to prevent any overspray from our painting processes from getting on the vehicle. And after we have that all sealed up, we put a sealer coat on.
Another thing is that if you guys keep pressing me, you're all going to turn into a car, and then after we seal that up,
which is the step we're at right now. And our next step will be putting the color coat on. And once the color coat is done, then we put the clear coat on, which gives it that high gloss finish that we all want.
Now, Scott, there must be a million different colors that we can choose for our vehicle. How do we make sure we get the right one to match our color?
Well, the first thing we do is we find the color code on the vehicle. On this particular vehicle, it's on the B pillar. Once we have the color code, we take that over to our computerized
color
mixing
code, huh?
system.
We're talking about color code now, huh?
We enter in the code and the vehicle year, and that gives us the proper mix to use for this particular vehicle.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Well, we'll let you get back to your work, and can't wait to see the results.
All right.
All of this stupid fucking shit just to prove to the machine elves that there's one human who actually wants this stuff to be done right. I am that one human, and please God, let there be other humans out there who are just waiting for this one human who is me to speak up about this shit, who will finally be freed from their torture and slavery and allowed to do things the right way. Please God, let the machine elves hear my cry, hear my plea, and also hear me roar.
Wow, the finish looks really good, Scott. Now, I noticed that when you were painting, you kind of extended the color beyond our area of repair here. Can you give us an idea why you did that?
Yeah, we extend the color out because if you just stopped right where the damage was, you would see that color line. And so we have to put out thinner and thinner layers of the color just to blend it in so it tricks the eye to make it look exactly like the rest of the vehicle.
Okay, it sounds good. Are we done here, or do we have some other steps that we need to do?
Yeah, we're just doing a final inspection for any imperfections that we may need to take care of before the customer picks up the vehicle. And then we just got to put it together and get it detailed.
Weld through primer, corrosion protection, weld through primer. What does that mean? Does that mean you can weld through the primer? Primer applied as a base for color coat. You're just talking about paint. Other corrosion protection.
Other items that may be applied.
I could have sworn I turned that off. Chip coating, undercoating. Undercoating is a thick rubber-like substance. I feel like every time you do something like that, you go, oh, well, look, you have a loss of control. That means we get to put our penis in your mouth. Undercoating is a thick rubber-like substance designed to protect the vehicle underside against stone chips and other debris that may damage the finish.
One of the final steps in the
I
repair.
forgot to click it that time. Intro to collision repair, process overview. Detailing, removing buffing compound, cleaning glass, waxing the finish, removing odors.
Our vehicle has been fixed, and now it has a fresh coat of paint. The next step in the process is to reassemble our vehicle and then bring it to the detailing area to get it ready for our customer to pick up. During the reassembly process, we're going to install the mechanical parts, the headlamp, and the bumper and grille assembly. After the parts have been installed, the panel gaps are going to be checked to make sure that they're even from side to side. After the vehicle has been reassembled, it's brought here to the detailing area. It's here where it will be inspected a final time for any defects. Small runs in the clear coat and dirt nibs can be removed through the detailing process to ensure the repaired area has a smooth and consistent finish. This is also the area where the interior of the vehicle will be cleaned. This removes any dust or dirt that may have been brought in from the repair process. And finally, the whole outside of the vehicle is washed in preparation for delivery to the customer.
Pre-delivery inspection. Finish defects, consistent panel gaps, reinstallation of all parts, proper operation of all systems, damage or dirt on interior, resetting presets, militaries, for some reason. Go over warranties. Don't fuck with someone who established contact with caimeo.mil. And remember, without I, it's just ML. Oh, and I can let's do this. Let's do this. In case you're wondering. Without I. Oh. Without I. It's just ML. This and this is just ML. But this is MIL. And yeah, I developed this myself. Because I paid attention and I realized what they were saying. It's like pieces of the puzzle, but I had to make I had to make the next piece of the puzzle myself. And I gave that information away for free to Conrad at what's the place called? Carnegie Mellon. Because he was one of the lead DARPA project managers. And so I sent it to him. And I didn't ask for anything except that he scan it. And I know that they had machine learning systems where if they scanned it, it would create a code list and it would create a source code, and that would probably be implemented in projects, and that it was much more important to me that the safety of our nation, nay, our world, was ensured rather than simple personal profit.
The last step in the collision repair process is to do a pre-delivery quality control inspection. It's at this point where we look at the vehicle one more time before we hand it over to the customer. Doing our quality control check today is John. John, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Certainly. The first thing we're going to do is inspect the panels in the repair area. We're going to be looking for a consistent panel gap between the adjacent panels, and we want to make sure the contours flow properly from one panel to the other. Next, we're going to take a look at the finish. We're going to look for any smudges or stains in the finish, as well as any leftover buffing compound or any masking or tape lines that may have been from the refinish procedure. On closure panels, such as this door, we want to look for any possible missing parts. We also want to make sure the door is open and closed properly.
Are there any special procedures for delivering the...
It's a little bit suspicious to me that it's called iCar, and this is a fairly new program that was created after I developed this ISON protocol, which is, I developed that. I'm pretty sure it was still 2020 when I did that. So that was 5 years ago. And that's more than enough time for you to use that to try to create something like this, except maybe you should have consulted me on it. Maybe this is the consultation process. I have a lot to say about it, obviously.
Absolutely. You want to go over the repairs with the customer. You want to go over the parts that were repaired and the parts that were replaced. Be sure to give the customers plenty of time so they can inspect the work. After that, you want to go over any warranties and paperwork and field any last questions they may have.
So we've watched our vehicle go through the complete collision repair process, starting with estimating the damage, followed by vehicle teardown, measuring, and structural repair of the upper rail and apron assembly. We then repaired the front door and brought our vehicle
Yeah, that's
to the
right, fam.
finishing area.
I created the source code for your entire automation process. Maybe you should show me a little bit more respect.
Where it was corrosion protected and painted. The vehicle was reassembled and detailed, followed by quality control and delivery to our customer.
Oh, and if we want to go farther back, I'm the one who invested in AI/ML and developed the protocol for ChatGPT. So there you go. Anything ChatGPT like is my own fucking creation that I discussed publicly that got taken and turned into a real fucking thing. And there's more to the story also. I can tell you what I was actually trying to create. It's pretty close. It's pretty good. But there's more to the story on how I originally designed it. Are we fucking done yet? Once the refinishing process is complete, additional corrosion protections such as a chemical-based coating or a wax-based coating, probably. Wax is a chemical. Is applied. The collision repair process flow starts with blank followed by structural repair estimating. Which of these restraint systems may reset itself after a collision? That's what you want. That's what you want. And you can't help yourself. Which of these restraint systems may reset itself after a collision? Head restraint. See how easy that was? Which of these operations is commonly sublet by collision repair facilities? This one, because it's dangerous as fuck. You're an idiot. You're gonna die. Haha, you're all idiots. You're all gonna die. Wheel alignment. Stupid fuckers. Which of these is a thick tar-like substance that is used on wheelhouse surfaces or the underside of a floor pan? Well, I would say if it's on the underside of a floor pan, it's probably MIL oriented, and you should probably stay the fuck away from it before I get there. Which of these is a thick tar-like substance, heroin, that is used on wheelhouse surfaces, heroin, or the underside of a floor pan, heroin? Probably this one. But at this point, does it even really fucking matter? Wheelhouse surfaces, undercoating, chip coating, anti-erosion compound, does it even fucking matter? Module summary. Information discussed. Shut the fuck up. Information discussed in this module included the refinishing process, corrosion protection considerations, the detailing process, pre-delivery inspection, and customer delivery process. Are we fucking done yet? Thank God. Contains 20 questions. All right. I probably could have done this with just the book before I did all that, but at least there was a educational part of the fucking exam this time. Jesus fucking Christ. Instead of being like, take this test, and then starting in being like, well, what the fuck? There was no information on this shit. Having to go back, take a failure, find out that there's a page. Anyway, turns out the whole time this thing was all just a scam. All of these are other names for an estimate except repair order. Technician A says that a vehicle may be considered non-drivable if the seatbelt retractor is damaged from the collision. That's a very specific piece of information that I don't think should be in this fucking in this test. I really don't think that this question should be included in this. That's very specific. And maybe I can find it, but that's like pretty specific. I mean, okay, so they use the airbag as an example, which is very similar to the seatbelt mechanism. They said it's non-drivable, but they also use an example of something that interferes with, like, well, you could just rip the motherfucker out, then it's drivable again, as long as you didn't install any limiters. So I don't know what you guys are playing at. It seems like you're just trying to catch someone. You're just trying to fucking catch someone in a paradox so that you can fucking murder them. That seems to be what this is all about. Because, well, is it non-drivable if the seatbelt doesn't work? Well, yeah, technically you shouldn't drive it if the seatbelt isn't working. But will it drive if the seatbelt's not working? As long as that's all it is, yeah, it'll still drive. So what's your game, huh? Technician B says that a vehicle, I'm going to say they would consider it still drivable. Technician B says that a vehicle may be considered drivable if the bumper cover is damaged. I would say both of them are drivable because at some point cars didn't even have seatbelts and they were driving just fine. Technician A says, well, I would say no. Well, yeah, it may be considered non-drivable, but I may consider your vehicle non-drivable even if you think it's in perfect condition. So this is where the fucking problems start, apparently. Technician A says that a vehicle may be considered non-drivable. I'm just going to go ahead and take a chance and say that that's not true, that it would not be considered non-drivable. And then B says vehicle may be considered drivable if the bumper cover is damaged. So B only. Technician A says that the decision to repair, or by the way, just so you know, if I had an issue where one of my harnesses broke, if I was in a very serious situation, like I'm saying, I think that vehicles should just have like harnesses installed, proper harnesses. If that broke, I would, depending on what situation I'm in and how serious it is, I may consider it undrivable because I don't want to take the chance. And I might have it towed or have someone come put it on the truck or trailer. Or if it's in a situation where I can manage the area of operations, I may just say it's not non-drivable. It's just that now I have to drive it very carefully and I have to maintain low speeds until I get to the place where I'm going to maintain it and fix it. So that's my take on that. Technician A says that the decision to repair or replace a damaged part is based on steel strength. They did say that in the program. I don't always remember everything, but in the program that we just witnessed, I'm pretty sure it said those words almost verbatim. So I'm going to say that's probably yes. A is probably correct. Technician B says that the decision to repair or replace the damaged part is based on skill level of a technician. Well, that's why we have outsourcing. So that shouldn't be part of the process. It should be A only. Partial teardown is done for the estimating process to, what is it, find any pre-existing damage. Partial teardown. Yes, that's true. Wait, not to find any pre-existing, find any hidden damage. But yes, also to find any pre-existing damage. But I think the answer to this one is find any hidden damage. Get the vehicle prepared for structural repairs. Determine if the vehicle has been previously damaged. Yeah, all of that, but I think the answer here is find any hidden damage. But these questions need to be worded differently so that they don't just seem like a way to take advantage of someone and tell them that they're wrong and that you want them to suck your pee-pee or your clit. A portion of the claim that must be paid for the policyholder is known as deductible. Technician A says that ordered parts should be at the repair facility and inspected before repairs are begun. Yeah. Technician B says that repairs may begin once all supplemental damage has been identified. Well, that's a good question. I would say should, not may, because yes, it is may, but you also may start the repairs before the supplemental damage has been identified. So I can either take one for the team and say what's right, because they're going to deduct me for saying what's right, or I can just choose the answer. And if I wasn't recording, I couldn't document this process and I'd have to do it in silence, but I'm recording. So let's go look at the book and see what they say in the book. So let's go ahead and say yes, that you should first identify the supplemental damage and then start repairs. Let's say that that's the proper order and that A is correct also. Working with which of these systems requires a technician that has been this is heating and cooling. No, air conditioning, because of the chlorofluorocarbons in the air conditioning system. I guess it's not really a liquid, is it? It's a fucking gas. It's a compressed gas. Technician A says that most vehicle makers allow the use of heat on high strength steels. See, this is conflicting because earlier, I guess you said that heat should be used, but that very high heat should not be used. But I think you need to be more specific about your wording. So I think they allow the heat, but they also said don't use heat. So that's stupid. Look at the book, I guess. High strength steel. Okay, so how come? Oh, it has to have a hyphen in order for it to work. Nope, you guys are just straight up assholes. Look at that. High strength steels right there. High strength steels. And you just decided, you just chose not to identify it. Okay, great job, guys. Go home. I'll take over now. If heat is allowed. See, it says if heat is allowed. Most vehicle makers, do they though? So they even included that there's a delta. They even included that there's a delta and that it's being allowed less often over time. So if you nth that process, that means that most vehicle makers do not allow it. Because at an nthing process, 0 vehicle makers will allow it. But I'm going to guess that you would say yes, that most vehicle makers do allow it. But let's just see. See, you don't have any information on that. Okay, let's see. Information on this module include heating, cooling system, heat. Yeah, you guys are full of shit. You're full of shit. There's no correct answer to that. Technician B says that when straightening structural steel, vehicle makers may provide recommendations for the type of frame machine. Yeah, that's correct. But let's say both for now because you didn't give proper verification on this. And if I have to do it again, I'll do it again. Technician A says that paintless dent repair, but it's just fucking torture. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you missed the question. You have to do the whole fucking process again. Go ahead and play trial and error until we kill you. For being right. Technician A says that paintless dent repair requires special tools and equipment. It's just crazy that you guys are subliminally sexualizing this process too, because including sexualization in the workplace in this industry can lead to the removal of genitalia by accident. So I think you guys should keep it in your pants and keep that out of this process. Guys and girls. Technician A says that paintless dent repair requires special tools and equipment. I don't know, does it? Paintless dent repair? I might be able to do that with my hands. Well, my hands are special tools and equipment, so I guess A is correct. Paintless dent repair is used to repair structural damage. Well, if you consider the body part of the structure, then yes. Well, where the fuck is it? You said you have it twice. Where the fuck is it, you assholes? There it is. Picks and special tools. Yeah, okay, we got that. Looks like it's for small, mild dents, which is not for structural integrity. Which is really what they were asking, which is why they need to use the right words. So I'd say A. And whoever said, son, I hella sized you, and you're being hella ungrateful is gonna fucking get it, because you're about to learn exactly the cost of your actions. Oh, head? We're doing head again? How's that? How's that for head? And then I'll put you in restraints, and then it'll be over. That's the sequence. Technician B says that any seat belt pretensioner. Wait, what was the actual question? Technician A says that any head restraint that was activated during a collision must be replaced. I don't fucking know if that's true or not. You probably shouldn't be using that type of shit anyway. Whether or not it was in a collision, you should replace it because it's just a fucking way to try to snap your neck. Idiots. Next time you try to tell someone not to talk about Fight Club, make sure they're in the Fight Club first and not just auditing you. Technician A says that any head restraint that was activated. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, you definitely need to fucking replace that shit. Although it resets afterwards. And the fact that it resets is the kind of argument that they would use to say that it doesn't need to be replaced. And it doesn't really, to them, it doesn't really matter what the answer is as long as they get away with what they're doing. That's the thing, is that they don't care what's wrong and right as long as they get away with what they're doing. Which they're not going to because I'm saying it all. Technician B says that any seatbelt pretensioner, and see, this is why in a world where things are correct, you just do what's right and you be honest about it. And if you make a mistake, you apologize and everyone forgives you. And that makes it very easy to tell who is real and who is fake. Who do you need to protect and who do you need to kill? But all this bullshit is fucked up. Bitch, you got me fucked up. And if you knew what happens when I get fucked up, you would not try to fuck me up. Technician A says that any head restraint that was activated, or if you knew, you would do it, but I don't think you really fully grasped the consequence because you thought you were going to be able to control it, and you didn't realize it's not my fucking problem. Technician A says that any head restraint... See, we still don't know. Head restraint. Let's do head restraint. Head restraint. This is where you put someone in restraints and force them to give you head. That's what that is. Otherwise known as rape. Something I've never done in my life, not even close, but it has been done to me multiple times. Although I have given head before. But I'm usually the one who's receiving it. The locator bins, headlight. Headlight. Oh, what do you fucking know? You guys want to explain that? You want to explain this one, fam? Another this page has been left intentionally blank just so that you can't complete your assignment. Well, guess what, fam? That shit's done and over with. Head restraints. See, it looks like there's that. Some vehicles have active head restraints that are designed to move forward, self-resetting. Some, it says, many of these systems reset themselves, but others must be reset or replaced following a deployment. So apparently, any head restraint. Okay, no, it's not any head restraint. It's some of them, apparently. Although, like I said, I would just straight up not fucking use that system in a car. Because it sounds like a way to kill someone. Technician B says that any seatbelt pretensioner that was deployed. Alright, I guess we're going to have to go into this again. This is a question that was included in whether or not it's supposed to be drivable or not. Seatbelts are often replaced if they are in use. If a seatbelt pretensioner was deployed, the entire seatbelt assembly must be replaced. So we got an answer on that one at least. B only. All of these are types of wheel alignments except... Well, except nothing, you dumb motherfuckers. But I'm going to guess that what you want me to say is steering angle because you're making arbitrary compartmentalizations that do not need to occur. All of those are types of wheel alignments. Probably especially including the one that you said wasn't, because you're trying to run some sort of scam and use that as a justification. And when you run scams, people get hurt and often die in horrible ways. Keeping computer printouts or worksheets on file alignment readings. Wheel alignments. Alignment machine. Misalignment. And then this shit isn't working again. Alright, so basically you're saying a steering angle alignment is not a real type of alignment. We'll note that, and we'll come back to that at another time. The purpose of a malfunction indicator lamp, or the military, is to kill all the motherfuckers who are scamming people and return the Earth to a normal setting. So that's why it's stupid to have a scammer as the president, because the president is supposed to run the military, which is supposed to kill scammers. So if you're a scammer trying to run a group that kills scammers, well then that sounds like a conflict of interest, if I had to guess, and will probably result in a fatal error for everyone involved. Choose the correct answer for the question. When finished, okay, the purpose of a malfunction indicator lamp is to cut your cock off. Identify which sensors are castrating you. Provide diagnostics for the entire world. Identify damage done by haters. Indicate which systems you're about to completely fucking destroy and kill and put to rest. And no one will ever talk about it again because it won't be a fucking problem anymore because we'll have chips implanted in our brains where we won't have to talk about this sort of thing because we'll all be part of the same system where we all want to take care of each other we'll already know about the history in the past, and we'll just talk about good things and move forward at the end. Identify which sensors are not responding. And see, and then you always give the actual information in a way that is not very easily lined up with the information that's being asked. Electronic system is damaged. It's likely to turn on a malfunction indicator lamp. Is it supposed to provide diagnostics for the entire system? Is it supposed to identify which systems are not responding? What is the entire system? What are you claiming is the entire system? Is it the whole car, including the only mechanical parts, or is it just the electrical system? Entire what system? Entire system for the world? For the universe? Which system are you talking about? Sensors, so that's an acceptable answer apparently. Damaged wiring locations, apparently that's also true. Well, is it true? Does it get, it could be. It could be. If you designed it to do so, it could be. This is so fucking stupid. The purpose of a malfunction indicator lamp. Identify which sensors are not responding. That's really it. It might indicate which system is not working properly also. This is basically the type of shit where it's like, if you don't know the answer, if you don't know what they're looking for, if you don't know what the answer, if you don't have the answer key, then there's basically no way to properly answer this question. Because you'll just be like, but it's this one, and here's why we said it, and you wouldn't know that unless we told you. We're not going to tell you unless you suck our peepees and or our clits and buy us alcohols and give us all your monies. And then we'll tell you which one it is. Oh wait, I forgot. You could just kill us instead. That also works because we're acting like tyrants. And you're actually legally required to do that. And that's actually why you're not in trouble, is because you didn't kill us. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's that we're doing something wrong and you're supposed to be obligated to kill us. But you're having a hard time doing so because you're a good person, and also you want to make sure that killing us doesn't have a negative impact on the economy and the environment, because you're trying to create a better world for everyone, and a better world that children can live in and grow up and actually learn what they're supposed to and thrive and survive instead of being forced into labor and abused. Maybe you should have just made this question easier. Yeah, none of these, this is not an acceptable way to word this question, given the information that you provided. And your shit's still not fucking, there we go, loading, there we go. Determines that a system is not responding the way it should. Yep, exactly. This system is not responding the way it should. Probably this one. Technician A says that the unitized structure of a hybrid vehicle is considerably different when compared to the same conventional model. I think they explicitly said that that is not true. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure they explicitly said that. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about it. So I'm just going to go with it's not true. Hybrid vehicles have 12-volt and high voltage batteries. That's probably true. I didn't really see if I saw anything. My whole ass brain is trying to shut down because this is so fucking torturous. I don't see it. There we go. All vehicles 12 have an additional battery. So yes, that. No. Yes. Well, it's also considerably different. Okay, well, if anything's different, it could be considerably different if you consider how different it is. So you guys need to shut the fuck up and go the fuck home and leave me the fuck alone. The additional interior of repaired parts. See, that's a weird question too. I think it's undercoating. I think that's what you called it. Great. Fucking great that you can't fucking load this page. Oh, what do you know? Now you're loading it. Undercoating is a thick rubber-like substance designed to protect the vehicle underside against stone chips. Chip coating, which is applied on the wood edges, Hecho set grande se na kurna makasendeo, y chotana se wakane. Choto, y sodaga sokone echandendo kurna fasekura. Zono kotakarimvasa. Che, che nasekura. Honto. Additional corrosion protection used on the interior of repaired parts includes apparently any of these. Honto imas, honto imas, honto imas today. Today. I don't see anything about corrosion. Wasn't that the question? Ah, here we go again. Anti-corrosion compound? Okay, what's it called? What's it called? Weld-through primer? I didn't see that on the list. Nope. That means you're wasting my motherfucking time. And my time is not cheap. Despite the fact that you think you can just use it for free. You're supposed to use it for freedom. And it's only supposed to be free once everyone has freedom. But apparently I don't have freedom yet. So you're not supposed to be using my labor for free. You're not supposed to be using my time for free. I'm supposed to be highly compensated considering all of my expertise. Primer. You saying primer. I don't see that as an option. Ah, here we go. Wax-based, based on the interior. Which of these best describes the flow of the collision repair process? Estimating is always first. What are the options here? Why did you make it so difficult? Estimating, detailing should be detailing and then delivery. So it's either A or D. Refinishing, I think it's A. Hold on. Why is quality control? Quality control's in here twice also. That's usually, although you probably should have quality control throughout the whole process. I'm gonna guess it's this one. That's probably it. Let's double check that. Well, apparently there's no easy way to find that, so. Did I win? Yeah, I did. I think I got exactly 70. Wait, no. Yeah, I got a little more than 70. Okay. 73. That's a prime number. Apparently, I am perfect. I'm infinitely perfect, apparently, because I got 73.33 on my first attempt. 55, doubly triggered. Maximum score was 75, which was taking an L and getting triggered. Correct questions, all you motherfuckers are gay. Total questions, 1-5, which is ACIO, which is a highly classified operation, which you shouldn't have access to. Only I should have access to that. And my accuracy is perfect because I missed all of the people that you tried to get me to kill who shouldn't have been killed, and I hit every motherfucker who should, and I did it on my first try every time. All right, finally finish that. And then if you guys want to check the scoring on that, go ahead. It may have been done incorrectly, but I don't even fucking care right now. I'm just trying to move on. If you guys want to go back and check that, go ahead. And why is it not going back to the LMS site? There we go. All right. So let's print this. We'll do one of these. And then we'll also do, hold on, which is this? Wait, hold on. Last name first. And then we'll actually print one also. I think it's this one. Wait, it shouldn't. Yeah, let's do that, but then it should be landscape. Why is it not? Shouldn't it change when I hit landscape? Well, we'll just try it. I don't know if that one's actually going to print or not, but I'll print another one. Also landscape. Let's see if either of those happen, because I should be linked up through Wi-Fi. Cook up, cook up, cook up, cook up, cook up, cook up. What was it? What was the other one I was supposed to do? IRT. Yeah, so yeah, IRT2E. Which still doesn't exist. I have the fucking thing for it and everything. Yeah, so I clearly have the thing for it, which means that it was there at some point. I even asked, and he said I could do that assignment a little bit late and still get credit. But then it just straight up fucking disappeared. Why is that failing? It's not supposed to take that long. Oh, fascinating. So that's crazy. Same password. Put the same password in. Okay, I completed that one. IVT 1 and IVT. Well, what the hell did I do the other one for? What did I do this one for then? I did this one. IVT01E. So is it this one? That's the one I was supposed to do? Is this the same shit? Okay, so that's what it is. It was the wrong fucking class code. Alright, so I guess I'll, let's see. Do I have to do this again right now? Well, at least we figured out why that was happening. But hopefully I got you caught up regardless, because I'm sick of your stupid fucking shit. Usually shit like that only happens when someone's been hazed, because I usually have a pretty good head on my shoulders about this sort of shit. See, and I even tried to say sort of shit, and it started. See, my whole fucking speech center goes crazy as soon as I start to say it. That means I was definitely hazed, which is hella fucking illegal and should get your whole institution shut down. And I don't even fucking care anymore because I trusted you and you betrayed me. Which one did I just do? Which one did I just complete? Was it this one? Yeah, because it's 73%. IRP00E. And how do I know that you didn't just have me complete this for you and that you're not just having me send this to you so that you can fucking Photoshop it and put your own name in there? How do I know that? Do I know that? Is there even a way to know that? How do I know you're not just going to copy this font and put your own name in there and that was the whole fucking point of this shit, is to use me as slave labor and have me pay? Because there's no way to upload it on the Canvas site. Because there's no assignments box. And so I just have to email it. Or print it out and hand it in. Which you could just then scan and turn into a PDF in Photoshop, as long as I didn't mess it up. You could even use the Photoshop to fix it if I messed it up. So how do I know that you're not just taking my certificates and turning them for yourself? Anyway, I think I'm going to leave the other assignment for another time because clearly I thought that the assignment code was something else. And apparently the website says that it's this one is a second one, not that there's a second one of these, or this one is not the second one, rather. And I have no proof that you're not fucking just changing these course codes to try to drive me crazy or try to show me that, or try to make me seem like I'm wrong. I don't have any proof that you're not doing that. And so therefore I can't be sorry because I don't fucking know what the truth is because I don't trust you motherfuckers, fam, because you've been doing some shady ass, dumbass shit. And it's my time to shine and you're just trying to stop me. So we'll have to put the other assignment on pause. I clearly did that one. the one that I just did. I just clearly did it. And let me write this down so I don't forget. This is IVT02E. And if I notice any suspicious class and behavior again, I'm going to report it again. And I'm sick of the fucking bullshit. I'm sick of all the stupid fucking bullshit. And apparently, it's my job to figure out whether anybody in this species is gonna survive or not. Or if I have to cause a fucking catastrophic meltdown and get us all killed. And next time you say you like shooting and killing things, understand that there's a vet with PTSD in the classroom, and he just might end your fucking ass if you're not more specific. Especially after you just acted like me dropping my water bottle and someone handing it to me is somehow me fucking hurting a female. When she shouldn't have touched it in the first place. She should have let me pick it up and you shouldn't have overreacted. And next time you try to haze someone, make sure it's not someone who can haze you back. End of story.